dear participants. A very warm good afternoon to all the experts from Sweden. And thank you all for making it up to this panel discussion. And we are a very small team. It's a small university and institute, but very ambitious. And we have reached almost the culmination of the International Teaching Month. And rightly so, at the very end of the International Teaching Month, we have come to the most important topic. The topic for today's panel discussion is leadership and entrepreneurship in building an international law firm. A very important topic indeed, and this topic would involve discussion by the experts, by the newbies, and also for the people who are looking forward to launching their own law firm. So we are going to draw a lot of experience from today's experts. I thank all the experts for making it up to us. And this valuable panel discussion is going to reach students in a very new way, that is by question and answer. And through and through, we are going to take different anecdotes of the life. Am I audible? Different anecdotes of the lives of people who have started from scratch and reached the zenith. So I again welcome all the participants and experts to this panel discussion. We'll begin with the welcome address by Dean and Director, Dr. Puri Pokhariya.
Thank you, Arun. And at the outset, I must compliment Deely for conceptualizing the theme of this panel. It's very interesting because at the end of the day, we in the law school have been promoting entrepreneurial spirit amongst the law students. In fact, we have a full course on lawpreneurs and entrepreneurs in our law schools. So it's so important to make our law students self-reliant. And the theme that has been chosen by our great friend, Eva Douthatch, is leadership and entrepreneurship in building an international law firm. I'm so amazed to see a panel today for this. You know, we have Mr. Magnusson, who has been mentoring a law firm, who is a very seasoned in this area and who has been, mentoring many of the law firms and who have been into this particular entrepreneurial journey for quite a long time. We have Mariusz, who has been the CEO of the firm and who understands the whole nitty-gritty of managing the firms. We have Alban and Eva, Alban has started his law firm. Eva is someone who has been the founder member of the one of the firm in Sweden, and we have our own alum, Om, who has a high desire to set up a law firm and taking this beyond the boundaries. So, this diversity would really help us, our students, to understand the nuances of this from different angles. So I'm so thankful and grateful to all the panelists who had kindly accepted our invitation and joined for the panel. This panel is going to be the most interesting panel because the kind of a discussion that we expect and we are hoping to have in this discussion would be the life lessons for our budding lawyers for future journey. So not taking much of your time, I welcome all. And thank you, Brother Steve, for helping us to organize in this grand way. Over to Yili. Over to Arun for introducing, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Now it is the time to formally introduce and know our guests. So for the first person to be introduced, Mr. Per Magnusson, founding partner of Magnusson Minds, Stockholm, Sweden, and who is a senior partner at Magnusson. He offers a range of advisory services. He has clients ranging from corporations to boards of directors to law firms on matters ranging from litigation and arbitration to mergers and acquisitions and strategic planning. Indeed, that's a wide variety of subjects that we will learn from you. Welcome to this event, Mr. Per. Secondly, we have with us Mr. Mariusz Kowalski. He is the CEO of Waterwalk Partners, manager and trusted advisor with the decades of experience in law firm marketing, business development, and management. His past positions include, among others, Chief Marketing Officer and Executive Management Member, and he has roles in leading law firms. Member of law firm management team, he has won the Managing Partners Forum Award for Management Excellence for Best Managed International Firm and Best Collaboration across international frontiers. Nice to know you, Mr. Mariusz. We'll learn from you. Thank you for being part of the panel. Next up, we have Miss Eva Edmond. Miss Eva Edmond is founder of Base of Business, Sweden, and engaging in the results-focused leader blending vision and pragmatic solutions. And she is able to quickly analyze business needs, create meaningful strategy, envision new concepts, and drive outcomes. And this is very important for all the entrepreneurs and leaders out there. Belief is strongly formed around the meaning that success is increasingly dependent on how we interact with each other. Very important lesson for all of us. How we interact that decides where we reach. This belief serves as the foundation to effectively network, collaborate, lead the team, and maintain positive partnerships. We'll definitely would like to know more about this concept that you have given us. Welcome to this panel discussion, Ms. Eva. Nextly, we have our own Eva Douthatch.
Thank you.
Eva Douthatch is the managing partner of DER Legal. He has experience of practicing, teaching, and conducting research in various jurisdictions, including India, Sweden, USA, UK, Turkey, and Ireland. Eva teaches as a guest lecturer on Uppsala University's LLM program on investment treaty arbitration and is also an assistant editor on the Kluwer arbitration blog. He has taught at one of India's premier law schools, Jindal Law School, and also Nirma University. Hi, Illy. Definitely we'll learn more from you. Next up, we have Mr. Alban Douthatch. Mr. Alban Douthatch is a senior lawyer who works mainly with corporate law, sports law, and dispute resolution. He is founder of orimlighira.se and DER Legal, Sweden, and has been associate of Magnusson Law. Welcome to the panel discussion, Mr. Alban. And lastly, we have our own Om Kotwal. He completed his, and he'll join us shortly. Still, I'll introduce him. Om Kotwal has completed his BA LLB in Constitutional Law Honours from Institute of Law, Nirma University, and subsequently pursued and completed his LLM in Legal Pedagogy in first rank from Institute of Law, Nirma University. He is the founding member of Kotwal Associates and litigating law firm, excels in sphere of land laws and indirect taxation. His keen interests are in public interest litigation, writ law, including Land Revenue, Town Planning Act, and Stamp Law. He has also represented various pro bono matters before the High Court of Gujarat and Supreme Court of India, advocating for the interests of the students' fraternity at large. And most importantly, he has appeared in matters before the High Court and Supreme Court, where the human rights of foreign nationals were at stake. So these are our experts. Over to Ili.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Arun, to Shreya, to all my colleagues at the Nirma University, the Institute of Law. Thank you to all the panelists for having accepted my kind invitation. It is indeed my honor and privilege to be sitting with you and to learn from you once more. Before we start this entire session, I want to give you a few words on three great role models of mine and also engines of social change in India primarily. And this is Shri Menon sir, Madam Purvi, my sister, and Steve Barnes, also my brother. Two of them are with us today, and one unfortunately passed away last year, and may he rest in peace. So what I can say is that in Nirma University, for all the students and also for our panelists here, for a long time, Purvi has been the engine together with Menon and Steve to build bridges internationally and to build a practical environment in which the students can develop skills apart from purely academic and theoretical skills. And with Purvi's leadership, they have also focused, of course, on leadership through empathy and entrepreneurship in the 21st century. And it is that background that made me want to have a panel that is not strictly focused on, as yesterday, investor-state dispute settlement or another subject of pure academic or thinking or legal thinking in the sense of procedural or substantive law. So I want to acknowledge and thank Madam Purvi, Dean Barnes, and also one of the greatest minds of legal education in India, Shri Menon, sir. And with that said, I will continue to new friends that I've made in my career here in Stockholm in particular, which is Per and Mariusz and Eva. And of course, Alban, I know him kind of, not too well, but we have a sort of a good friendship at least. And so I start with Eva. And Eva, you have done some great work as a CEO for various law firms here in Sweden. And you and I have been constantly talking to one another. And I've taken note, but I'm also inspired by your work. And we discuss on how can I, as a leader, as a young leader, benefit from your knowledge. And particularly, I've been impressed of the way you develop law firms through diversity. So my first question to you is, how do you work to promote diversity through leadership?
Thank you, Uli. Great to be here. And that's a very good question. Well, this is a very near and dear topic to me. When I promote diversity and we here discuss the international perspective and experience from my side, I try to change what a lot of companies and leaders treat as a theater. And if you're not part of a group that is not diverse, you don't see the problem in place. And that's the first thing. The other thing is that if you understand that if you imagine yourself that after many years in law school, you finally get your dream job, let's say in a super nice law firm in New York. And when you arrive, you just see that no one looks like you. And what do you do then? What if you do your best every day from early morning to late at night, and you have this very complex law problems that you need to solve, and you do your best every day, but your colleagues just still say that, well, you're just here for your gender or your color or your religion. And another example is that what if these excellent colleagues at this excellent law firm are into business law, but you're appointed to be to handle migration issues instead because of you just did, and you are the only one who knows something about it. That is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about diversity, inclusiveness, and belonging. And it is an uncomfortable discussion for everyone, and foremost for those who are naturally diverse. So we need to all remind ourselves that we are role models ourselves. So it is not only the responsibility for the leaders.
Thank you very much, Eva. And that takes me to a follow-up question, and that is, could you explain how diversity, given the background you just provided, enriches a law firm's productivity? Because at the end of the day, that's what businesses want, right? Productivity. And we need to not only treat it as an altruistic purpose in and of itself, but how do we conceptualize diversity as something that leads to productivity?
Yes, why do we need to change and why do we need productivity? Well, the most important angle is that diversity cultures do give us better decisions. We need to hear and listen to more voices all the time, actually. And our clients are diverse, our suppliers are diverse, both students here and the teachers are. So if diverse employees, associates, and the law firm don't see themselves as they could succeed and grow, their growth will be limited within the law firm. They won't stay. And that is just a matter of time, actually. So there is research that shows that about 70% of all employees are disengaged at work, which is really, really sad to hear. And why? Because they are not being respected or heard or feeling that they do belong. And that, on the other hand, if I can be authentically me at work, I will also be able to do my best work. So that is the key to production.
Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me? Because I seem to have lost the connection, but you can hear me. Very good. So
yeah, we hear you.
Very good. So that takes me, and thank you very much, Eva. That takes me into the third question I was going to ask you here today, and that is, how have you worked to create a diverse work environment?
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, you have to touch the elephant, really. Well, if diversity, inclusion, and belonging is just an initiative in a training program, you already lost. It can't be a theater. It have to be in place every time you take a decision, every time and where and how you evolve your business. So you need to look at some point how the company do fairness of pay, which is common. I think everybody knows that. How the company give promotion and succession. How the company give feedback. How is the company's job postings looking like? And a very important thing is how is the companies organize their networks and do they represent in diverse? That is how you build and give trust.
Thank you very much, Eva. And we will get back to you in the Q&A, and we sort of let everyone answer briefly, and then we can come back to a conversation with the audience. I would want to reserve some time for the audience, because this is, at the end of the day, to all the students, this is your conversation. This is the time for you to ask questions and to benefit from Eva's experience, which transcends many years. So starting with diversity and how diversity enriches the workplace and how it promotes productivity, we come into Mariusz Kowalski, who has been working also as a non-lawyer in law firms, building the brand, not through HR development on the ground, but through marketing skills. And within that expertise, Mariusz, I would want to ask you to spare us a few sentences on how important it is to market your law firms, and what kind of marketing.
Well, there are many answers to these questions, and I will focus just on 3 points. So the first point is that today clients expect that any law firm will deliver excellent service. There are many good law firms, and technical expertise is simply not good enough. You need to be able to differentiate yourself from others. You need to have something unique to say and to offer. And marketing is important because it will help you stand out. My second point is that sometimes people that marketing is about having fancy brochures. It's a pretty simplistic view. And I would say my definition of marketing is that marketing is about listening to the market. If you want to sell your services, listen more, talk less. This will help you understand your potential clients better. And my third point is that marketing is important because your competitors do it. If you don't focus on marketing, it's a serious mistake because your competitors actually do, and it will have consequences. Being passive will make you a loser.
That is a very direct advice, which I agree with completely. Thank you very much. And to all you students out there, when you go to work for a firm or you're setting up your firm, really consider that. And as Mariusz said, listen to your client, know your client. And that takes me to the follow-up question, which is, why is long-term relationship building and visibility across borders important? And why should we, as a small and medium enterprise, as a small and medium-sized law firm, invest in that?
Again, there are many answers to these questions. I will focus just on a few aspects. First of all, it's important because if you focus on long-term relationship building, you can have clients who will stay with you for many years. And secondly, it's easier to receive new assignments from existing clients. You can expand the existing cooperation into new legal areas. You can also grow with your clients. At the beginning, their needs may be basic, but then they will grow and they will need more. So imagine that you started to work for Google when it was a startup. There are firms that started to work for Google at this phase, and they still work with them until today. Secondly, it's also your safety net. It is easy to terminate a service provider, but it's very difficult to terminate a friend and a truly trusted advisor. And now, how actually can you do this? I think you can liaise with like-minded firms and professionals in other countries, because elsewhere lawyers face the same challenges as you face. There are tools such as LinkedIn, which is by definition a global platform, which can be used. And above all, you need to find your way. If you know your strategy, then you will find tools which will be relevant for your strategy.
Thank you very much, Mariusz. And having touched upon the need for long-term relationship building and expansion, essentially, both expansion as a law firm and expanding with and through your clients, and that long-term relationship building ties to a question on globalization, because that's, at the end of the day, we have a global world, we have an interdependent world, and as Eva discussed, we are interconnected in various possible ways. So for all the students here and all the rest that may be listening, could you share or explain why small and medium enterprises as law firms need to work across borders in today's environment?
Well, I will focus on a few aspects, and one of them will be that if you work across the borders, the world will become your marketplace. And okay, today your firm may be small, maybe medium, but by opening the whole world, you create opportunities for your firm, but also for your clients. And you need to listen to your clients. You need to follow what they do, because many of them will most probably have international operations, or will have clients in other countries, or will look for clients in other countries. And then if you, without any interest in international work, you will not be able to help them. And it will be very difficult to build a relationship with them. And further, the pandemic has created a number of opportunities. And one of them is that remote working is today really widely accepted. So you can be at home, in your home office, in your home headquarters, and still work on international projects and for international clients. Again, economies are interconnected, and this is a huge opportunity. If you do not grasp it, it will become a lost opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mariusz, and especially we want to take with us the message, the central message of your answer to this question, which is the world will become your marketplace. That is really important for everyone to capture. And one of the person apart from Mariusz that I know not very well, but hopefully I will get to know even better. But Mariusz is one of the people I admire greatly that is good at relationship building. And the other one is also with us here today, albeit not as a panelist, which is Steve Barnes, that has been building bridges all over the world for many years, and actually is the source of all us being here today. And I want to put Mariusz and Steve together because I see some really, resemblance in the two. And this is one of the greatest skill and greatest attribute that a person can have, a bridge builder. This is the sole reason why I came to India and why I fell in love with India and why I always keep on coming back. This is a really, really important skill, never to be underestimated. So thank you very much, Mariusz. And with that, I move on to a new friend again that I've been working on for the last several months, Per Magnusson. And Per Magnusson has been, as Arun and Madame Purvi stated, has been the founder of several big law firms. And we really want to pick his brain on certain skills that he has acquired over the years in building these massive law firms. So I come now to you, Per Magnusson, and I ask you, first of all, why did you start your own law firm? You were already a partner at a massive and great law firm. So what motivated you to invest your time and energy in building a business as opposed to merely being an employee?
Thank you, Ilian. First of all, let me say how honored and delighted I am to participate in this event. And as you said, I've been doing quite a bit of a law firm building over the years, and it now adds up to some 30 years. And from the very beginning, it actually, this was in 1991, it actually started with me and a colleague at my current firm that we just had a lot of interesting discussions together. We thought we wanted to do something on our own. We had ideas that we wanted to work more as a team within the firm rather than individuals, bringing the best out in different people together, working together, capitalizing on that team energy. And that was basically it. We didn't have any more specific plans than that. We had some very vague ideas that we wanted to do something together. And then things just developed from one thing to another. And we didn't really have a great master plan from the outset, but we were two colleagues who enjoyed working together, and we had some ideas. That's how it started.
Thank you very much, Per. And that is really interesting and important for students to know that sometimes your ideas are enough and you don't have to have a big master plan, but there is an Albanian expression that goes something like, you take a first step and then the other has to follow, otherwise you fall. So if you have an idea and you feel somehow strongly about it, you don't have to have a master plan, but you need to get going. And that is a really important lesson. Thank you very much, Per. And also takes me to my follow-up, which is, what would you advise, or what advice can you give lawyers that are interested in investing in their own practice?
Well, I mean, again, I think from my previous from your previous question, I think it is important to start doing rather than start drawing up all these different plans. So if you are interested on starting on a venture, if you are curious, if you want to develop things, if you want to see how things can grow, and if you are prepared to take risks, because starting your own business definitely involves risks. And it also, and this is something which many lawyers have a great fear for, namely failures. And I'm a big fan of failures because I think that failing is the only way to make progress. And you should never be afraid of failing, because it's from failures that you learn. And by having that sort of courage, even if you are if you are nervous and you're afraid, if you can rest assured that if you take one step, you can develop that. And if you're prepared to learn from your mistakes and be curious and take one step at a time, and above all, you must enjoy it. I mean, it's the most important thing. If you enjoy developing your own business, then that is the right spot for you to be.
And that leaves us with two really good messages for you all. And I think that, to summarize, failure is important. Let us fail in order to achieve. That is a very strong and impactful message. Thank you very much, Per. And the other one is, you need to have fun. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. You cannot build something if you're not having fun while you're doing it. That is also a very important and strong message. However, I need to come back to a follow-up here, Per, because I need to ask you what you think on entrepreneurship. And do you believe that this mindset that you obviously have, and which is also manifested in your previous experiences, is it something that is inherent? Is it something that is acquired?
I think I would say it's a combination, but I think definitely can acquire it by doing it. And I definitely think that if you can sort of bring out your potential and be prepared to listen, to learn, and as I said, to make mistakes, and to I think Mariusz used the expression "listen more than talk." I think that is something which goes in general when you build an organization, when you build a law firm, because it's all about people. And if you want to build something, you cannot do it on your own. You have to rely on others to be with you. And your role as a builder and as a leader is really to enable others. That is what you're for, not to promote yourself, but to promote others. That is what will build a strong organization. And if you are prepared to be going with full force, have energy, and coming back to this, being prepared to make mistakes, then I think you have something going for you. And there is this founder of Apple's, as you may have heard of, namely Steve Jobs. He actually many years ago, he made an address to the graduation class at Stanford University, and he ended his speech with something which has always stuck in my mind as a piece of general advice to all the students now going out in the world and to looking for whatever they are looking for. And his advice to them as they entered their professional life was, stay hungry, stay foolish. And I think that ties into what we have talked about today, that be prepared to make mistakes and have a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, Per. And I'm so glad that you're here with me today, because as I said earlier, for everyone, Per is a new friend, and we're among old friends too, like Madame Purvi here and Dean Barnes. And what the great strength I see in these leaders, my dear old friends, is the ability to enable others. This is a strong and powerful tool that great leaders have. And I see that, of course, in you, in Mariusz, in Alban, in Eva as well. And it would be very nice when we finally meet together in India in person to have an extended conversation. But until then, I want to pick your brain on a last topic here, Per, and that is, can you provide an overall thought on leadership and entrepreneurship in building a law firm? You have touched upon the necessity of failure, but can you also address, if any one of your employees fail, how do you motivate them to come back? You've discussed the importance of enjoying, but do you have any practical tips of how we can enjoy together? And enabling others, we've already seen. So that one, I can be the greatest witness and testimonial for Per's ability to enable others.
Well, I think it is, as we've touched upon already. I mean, it's about encouraging other people. We all make mistakes. It's not the end of the world. We should, of course, recognize that some things need to be improved. But we need to do it in a respectful way always, because we all make mistakes. And of course, when there is success, we must always be ready to celebrate and to give credit, to make people grow, because a lot of people underestimate their own ability, in my opinion, especially young people who think that, you know, I'm so young, I don't know anything, and I have to become much more experienced before I can do anything. And I say that as a young, talented person, you know a lot more than you think you know. And I sometimes tell young lawyers that, because they have a tendency to go to the senior lawyer and say, "What I have this I've looked into this issue, and here is what I ended up with. What do you say? What is the right answer?" And the question, the thing is that the young lawyer often knows the right answer much better than the senior lawyer. And then I tell them sometimes that, well, think about the Nobel Prize. What about the Nobel Prize? You know, the big discoveries that are awarded to Nobel Prize winners, they get the prize when they are senior, maybe 60, 70, or even 80 years old. But the discovery they have made, they came up with when they were very young, often when they were like students, 19, 20, 21, 25. It is very rare to hear that a revolutionary discovery has been made by somebody who is in his 50s or in his 60s. So the young people have a lot more to contribute with already at very young age, and it's for them to acknowledge that, and for the senior people, for the mentors, the leaders, to recognize that they can and they will.
Thank you very much, Per. And instead of jumping over to Aum or Alban, I want to bring in Eva again. And I want to ask you, Eva, because I know you personally, and I know that you have such a strong leadership through empathy. And I want also to touch upon what Per had just mentioned here, is that how do we deal with failures, and how do we encourage and motivate our employees to stay hungry, to stay foolish, but still take on a failure? And also, how do we keep a workforce happy, and how do we keep our employees motivated?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and there is a lot of answers to that. I think the motivation is always coming from be taken care of and be confirmed as a person, as an individual. You are learning a lot. I mean, when you come as a new law student to law firm, you normally keep on learning. It's not the end of the school here. It's you still learn, and you probably learn for the rest of your life, which is a great motivator for me, and I think for the most of people. So that is the motivation stuff, and of course being confirmed as a human being. Like whatever you like to do, you need to see the team all together. What do they need? I mean, like we talked about diversity, it's of course that we all know that we are all different, and diversity is humanity. It's fairness. It's so much more, that you need to see every individual as they are, and if you accept them as they are, they will do magic for you.
Thank you very much, and I couldn't agree more. And I can say that all of you invited panelists are really people that embed these values truly, and I admire you all for it. And moving on then to Aum. Aum, you are one of our own here at Nirma University. You're an alumni, and people look up to you. So we are very happy to have you with us in this panel, and hopefully we will meet in real life, in person, sometime soon. So I want to ask you, can you explain how you have worked to build this law firm of yours in India?
Really, that's, I think, the most important question which bothers the younger generation. And I think it is a very simple answer, a rather simple answer, which I could give. I think I took a road which was less traversed. Uh, it certainly was challenging, but in a way, I had to come up with an innocuous plan. A senior lawyer, joining a senior lawyer or joining a law firm is a cliche when it comes to the younger generation. But if you really want to work on something which is very different, as I think Brett said, you require lots of courage and you have to endure failures. And in that light, I joined hands, to be very honest, and not to go beating around the bush. I would give my secret mantra. I actually went out to join hands with people who were not belonging to the legal fraternity. These were my potential clients from real estate, my potential clients from people who are interested in land and their investment. And eventually, because they had lots of drafting and conveyancing work, they hired me. And that is how we started with a shared office. I would not dwell into too much of theory, but I would rather just give a bit of my experience. I think that is why I am here, which, like, whatever little experience I have, I would give it to you. It is to join hands beyond borders. And it is very interesting to note that I started off with people who were not with the legal fraternity, but eventually, as my law firm grew, we have more partners now. We have more people who are not per se lawyers, but are paralegals. And we found out that in India, which university would provide a degree for paralegals, diplomas in paralegals. And these were my law clerks who actually aspired to be lawyers someday. So they did so. But it is actually collecting people from different fraternity, because it is natural that if you're a young lawyer, it is very difficult to pitch in to somebody who is already a senior one. So you get people from a different class of the society and bring them together.
Thank you very much, Aum. And I think I take your very important lesson from a very known expression of taking the road less traveled. And this is, I know, one of Dean Barnes' favorite expressions as well, but really, really one of significant importance, and one that Shri Menon sir was also a huge advocate of. And spinning off then from this road that is less traveled, for all these law students that are sitting here today and they are competing to work for SAM or CAM or Desai and so on and so forth, which are excellent workplaces. But that competition is hard, and it is a road very well traveled. Let's put it that way. Can you advise students on how to find another alternative?
Yali, I think, I mean, that's a very, very relevant question to ask, because there are people who would work in law firms. I myself did work with a litigating lawyer for about 2 years to gain some experience. But that is, that is basic. You need to get your basics sorted so that you could actually lead the procession. So I think once you are through with the basics, I think the younger generation or the young budding lawyers with having entrepreneurship in their hearts, especially the ones from Gujarat who actually are good with marketing, should actually aspire to take innocuous ways. I mean, as I pointed out, join hands with your potential clients. Offer them a barter that if I work with you, I might work in an arrangement which is very promising to you and more profitable to you. So we have actually drafted contracts with these potential clients, and it did work. It did work for me. For somebody else, it would be a different kind of road, but I think this is something which one could try for sure.
Thank you very much, Aum. And because we started on the expressions, a road less traveled, let's take another expression that comes very dear to everyone's heart here, which is be the change you want to see in the world. And tie that together with Per's statement on on the foolishness that drives in invention and that drives new techniques of working. You, like myself, is a young managing partner. So there are, of course, certain skills that we haven't acquired yet, but there are some new techniques that makes for a difference, and potentially that is the foolishness that is good that Per is talking about. So please, with your success and the person you are, can you share some of the qualities you see are important as a managing partner and as a founder? And this also, as Mariusz and Eva and Per had discussed, in enabling people and bringing together people and building relationships.
I think this is a sum total of what all three panelists said. And I'm glad that I am here to absorb all the knowledge which their experience provides. I would like to share 3 points which would actually help in this case. First is perseverance. Second, I think, is integrity, which is of highest importance. And third, being a managing partner, would be motivation. I would start with the last one, which is motivation. It is kind of naive, but it has worked for me. I would sing poems to my partners if they are not okay with a particular case. I would quote from pieces of literature, and especially from from judgments of Supreme Court, and tell them that this is not the end, and failure is just a step which we need to overcome, and beyond it there is a new dawn which awaits for us. Next comes integrity. Integrity is something which I think I would like to instill in all my partners, in which I think we all have succeeded in doing so. It's basically working on the belief system the client actually has. Faith is the fulcrum of the clientele. If the client does not trust you anymore, he's not going to hire you again, or he's not even going to continue with you. So I think for that, micromanagement is very essential. I'll give you a very good example. I think if a matter comes up before the court, as my firm largely is a litigating firm, a matter comes up before the court, we ideally have 10 to 20 matters per day on an average, and some matters are not taken up. So we won't actually ghost on that client, or we won't just say that, you can check on the online list and see when the next date has come, next date has arrived. We would actually make sure that one of our paralegals would call that client and say that, Mr., your matter was not taken up because the list before the court was too long. So the next date is on so-and-so, and we intend to do so-and-so. And if we require some details from you, these are the details, please provide it to us. So communication becomes a very essential aspect to actually work on their faith. Trust is developed because there is communication. If there is no communication, I think trust would go haywire completely. Second, perseverance. Of course, there has to be hard work, there has to be dedication, and without the fact, there has to be research materials available to all the colleagues we have, be it people who are not per se lawyers, be it people who are still paralegals. And I have had amazing experience when, on a research topic or on a case which we are going to produce before the court, a lawyer is not able to come up with a very conclusive or very substantive argument, but a paralegal would, just because of his curiosity, would come up with a very relevant portion of law which would help us in the courtroom. So that means that it is our duty to provide all the research materials, especially the search engines where case laws could be searched, to our colleagues, regardless of their status and their education qualification.
Thank you very much, Aum, and I totally echo what you say. Hard work, dedication, integrity, motivation, and a soft combination of micro and macro management depending on the situation, and of course delegation. One thing I will take the liberty, even though I'm the moderator, and also share one of my own experiences as a managing partner here, as a young managing partner, is, and what has been instrumental to me to see in myself over these months, that, you know, this year, I shall say, where I've been working actively to build a law firm together with my brother and my other partners and colleagues, is self-awareness. So many times I believe that I knew something and eventually it turns out that I didn't. And it is a virtue to be humble and self-aware and understand that, as Per said, we cannot know everything. We must allow ourselves to fail, but when we fail, we must correct ourselves, come back up, and not allow the failure to identify us, but the opposite, to allow the failure to strengthen us. And I think that self-awareness is part of this integrity that you speak about, and also that Mariusz spoke about as an essential instrument in relationship building, for which or without which you cannot build a legal practice. So that is very good. Thank you very much, Aum. And also, it was my pleasure to meet you, and I'm looking forward to see you in real life. I will come and visit soon. So I move on then to Alban. Alban is, for full transparency, as you may or may not know, depending, you can see on our surnames, he is my brother, my biological brother. And I go to the first question, Alban. Welcome. Do we need non-lawyers in law firms? If so, why?
Thank you very much. Yes, we need non-lawyers in law firms, of course. I will start off by saying something very controversial. Lawyers are not all-knowing. In my opinion, we are not even enough knowing, especially not to run an international law firm on our own. It's possible to have lawyers run a company on their own, obviously. It's just have a look around in your city and you will understand that is the case. However, no serious big company should be run by only people with one background and one area of expertise. I myself enjoy having people in my law firm whose role is to directly help the law firm to develop. For example, people with marketing skills, IT skills, economy skills, and so on. In our firm at DER Legal, we have all those roles, and they are contributing immensely to our development. This is also some kind of diversity in a way, right, Eva? It's diversity in competence.
I will actually spin off that afterwards, but please continue.
Sorry for taking that. It's important to understand that being a good lawyer will not automatically make you a good business owner or a good leader. These are completely separate skills. In most law firms, the best lawyer go on to become a partner and a leader. This will create sometimes a situation where lawyers with no leadership skills and other managerial skills run a big law firm. This will then hurt the company and also the young employees. We need to find a way to have the best leaders be the leaders. Another problem having the best lawyers become the leaders of a company is that it could have a negative effect on their own legal work. They should not do something that takes away from what they are good at. Also, I could say, imagine if Google had their best programmers be board members. Obviously, it should be possible to climb the corporate ladder, but only if you're a good candidate for what's waiting at the next level. You should not climb because you were good at doing what you did at the previous level. At our company, our lawyers and other employees, they are not only trained and developed in law or whatever they're doing, but also in leadership and client relations. I think that would be the answer to that question.
And echoing that, thank you very much, Alban. And the central theme here is, of course, that yes, we need non-lawyers. And we are embracing and endorsing that approach in our law firm. And as you said, that is sort of diversity. It is diversity. It is diversity indeed. And this is, I remember when Alban was working for a major law firm here in Stockholm, which was the law firm that Per founded, and Eva was the CEO of that law firm. Alban used to tell me, he used to say, we have an excellent CEO. She's such a rich source of inspiration. And that was before I knew Eva. And now I know that that is true. But that also goes to show that these people have a great impact on the lawyers and also on building their entrepreneurial skills. And exactly as Alban said, we really need non-lawyers to be part of building a strong corporation, which can be, for example, a law firm. And spinning off then, Alban, or going further, why is the employee, because I know this is one of your favorite topics, why is the employee the greatest asset of the law firm? And how should the associate treat their partners? That's a different question. So the first is, why is the employee the greatest asset of the law firm? And the second one, how should the associate, which is the employee, treat their partners? And put the emphasis on entrepreneurship and leadership in your answers.
Thank you. The answer to that question, why the employees are the greatest assets of the law firm, is because a law firm is offering services, and services are only as good. These services are only as good as the people performing the services. We are not selling products. Our services will vary in quality from day to day and obviously from employee to employee. This is the best part, the most fun part, in my opinion, because a good law firm has the opportunity and the ability to make their services better each week. DER Legal makes a big deal, as you stated, out of being the best possible platform for the employees. We'll do absolutely everything to take care of the employees and have them become the best version of themselves. In the end, this will give our clients the best possible service. That's the short answer. I could write a book on this. I love this topic, but that's the short answer. And the other part, the other question, how the associates should treat their partners. There has obviously, it has to be a professional relationship at the core between the associates and the partners. The associates at our firm are working towards individual goals, often to become a partner. A partner is expected to have excellent skills when it comes to leadership and client relations. The partner is managing the client relationships. The associate is not expected to manage any external relations. The only relation that the associate is expected to manage at our firm is the one that he has to his co-workers and the partner. So the associate should treat his partner as the partner being their only client. That's my view, although I'm not very interested in giving firm statements on how people should do things. I believe each person has his or her own way to reach the goal that they are looking to reach.
Thank you very much. And I completely agree with you. And the aspect I agree the most is when you said I could write a book, because now I will push you to write a book.
Oh.
So that's my favorite theme, right? But
hey,
to end,
mistakes.
yeah, but to end this, and I also will tell our mother that Alban is writing a book, so then it's definitive.
Yeah.
But a last question before we open up the floor to all the students, and that is, can you, Alban, provide us with two or three stereotypes of traditional commercial law firms? I would call it the orthodox law firm, and what our law firm is doing different.
Yeah. Spinning off on what I was talking about earlier, stereotype number one would be law firms are managed by great lawyers with bad leadership skills. Our law firm is not interested in having leaders with no leadership skills. So we try to develop the leadership skills as we go. Another stereotype would be that law firms are short-sighted. They are chasing dividend. DER Legal is mainly interested in one thing, that's developing the employees. It's more long-sighted. So we want to have the best lawyers in every area of law. And those lawyers will be the employees that started off with us, that has been at our law firm for many, many years. A third stereotype would be that law firms are old-fashioned. I believe that law firms are only looking at other law firms to see what they need in order to develop. This creates some kind of a bubble where nothing is happening and the development is very slow. I think that as we do, a law firm needs to take inspiration from other types of company, not only other law firms. That would be my third stereotype. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And those are three important aspects. The short-term dividend and yield, which may put obstacles in place for long-term benefit, which would include then developing these future leaders, which are the employees. Good lawyers does not equal good leaders. And I think anyone in the panel might want to jump in and provide us a few thoughts on that. Per, you have been a great leader for a long time. And if you have any thoughts on in your life, if you've ever seen a great lawyer in a leadership position and not doing a very good job, I will come back to that. Just I want to summarize Alban's third point as well, which is also really important. And Per, you can also pick up that one, which is that many law firms only compare themselves with each other, which creates a bubblish environment in which we're not really doing the best we can. Thank you, Alban. And Per, please, if you want to share some of your.
Well, talk about writing a book. This I can write a book on. I will try to keep this brief. I couldn't agree more with what Alban said. That absolutely, being good at your legal profession does not at all mean that you are good at leading a firm, and that is an inherent challenge, I think, in most law firms. And it's a long tradition, but it also goes back to the bar rules that require only lawyers to be partners and typically to be leaders, with very few exceptions. So lawyers are brought up to think that only lawyers can do things, and only lawyers can manage a law firm. And I think that is very bad for development and for developing a healthy organization. And I agree, it is kind of a bubble. And there was a last part as well. I forgot what that was. The other part you mentioned.
So the bubble was the last part.
And the last, okay.
The dividend and the short term.
Yeah, and I think it is a sort of a traditional thing that law firms are run like this, but it also is a regulatory thing, which, in my opinion, should change. And we should open up for a lot more diversity with respect to having other people in the firm having leadership positions, because there are, of course, partners who are good at leading, but that is far from everyone. And often, if people are placed in a position where they're not comfortable, and then the result could be actually quite disastrous.
Thank you very much. And with that, I want to spin off a little bit into a last question before the Q&A. So Alban talks about this need for non-lawyers, and Per is explaining that he agrees with that, and he could also write a book on that. So we may have two books, but we're not taking any preference here. We will read both equally. But I want to specifically hear from Mariusz, because Mariusz, you have been contributing to various law firms, being a non-lawyer, and especially as we're discussing the role and the need for non-lawyers to contribute, how important is it for a law firm to have someone that helps build relationships and client trust, and that is actually an expert at that, as opposed to an expert at legal interpretation and application, for example?
Well, I really echo what both Alban and Per said, and I would say that having somebody like that or such function is vital, is essential, and not least in today's world. Law firms compete, and this competition is increasing. And lawyers are fantastic at certain things, but they need people who are experts not in law, but in helping lawyers build relations with clients, helping lawyers develop these relations. It's a skill. It's something that you need to be professional in. And I think that in many firms, this sort of understanding of the necessity to involve non-lawyers who are experts in specific fields, it increases. And I think that when it comes to relations with clients, it's not some magic. It's something that you need to plan, to execute, you need to pay attention to. It's not happening by itself. And very often lawyers simply do not have time for it. They have a lot of work to handle for clients, and they need guidance from people who are experts in building relations.
Thank you very much, Mariusz, and I echo that too. And to the audience, we will have a second panel where we will introduce controversy so that the panelists would agree less and have a heated debate, but that's not for today. So with that, Arun, if you want to take over and open up the floor for a Q&A, I just want to say thank you very much to the panelists. I don't take your time for granted. It is my privilege to be with you, and to Madam Purvi and Dean Barnes, and to the faculty, Arun, Shreya, and the rest. Thank you very, very much.
Well, thank you for the wonderful insights. Indeed, it was pretty revealing to learn from the life experiences. I'll take the first question from a student named Pranjali. The question is to Miss Eva. As we are students, what are the basic premise or requirements we should fulfill before starting a law firm? And would it be wise decision to start a firm just after graduation? That is the question.
When to start a firm, actually, if you like to go into a law firm by yourself, you can do that. I believe in that. You have to, however, as we discussed here so many times, that you need to have people around you. If they are in the board, or if you have professionals outside, or just good friends, or whatever it is, you need to have competence how to build your firm. Because if you're starting yourself directly after law school, you need to concentrate on the client relations and to deliver law. So you have to have some kind of people around you, professionals that can take care of marketing, management, finance, IT, and so on, so on. So that's my answer to that. I didn't hear the first one, I'm sorry. And the first question?
The first question is, what are the basic requirements that a student should have to start a law firm?
What do they need to have? Well, I think maybe that's a question for Per, actually. Where to start? What do you think, Per?
Well, I think there is no one fix to this. I mean, one size fits all. I think a lot of things could work, but I think you need to have, one thing that you need to have is a lot of energy. I mean, and you need to be brave and embrace the adventure. Because it is an adventure, but you must be prepared to take nothing for granted, be prepared to embrace the adventure. But there is no fixed model that works for everyone, but believe in yourself and listen to your heart.
So Per, another allied question asked by Akshat. The question is, what should be the mindset of a student who wishes to start a new law firm in future?
Was that to me?
Yeah.
Well, it was really the same as I just said. Embrace the adventure, Don't take anything for granted. Be curious. Be prepared for setbacks, and work very, very hard, and listen to your heart.
Thank you. Thank you. One of the faculty members, Mr. Amit Kashyap, is asking a question: how important it is to critically assess and strategically decide the location of an international law firm if you already have clarity of legal practice? How the location matters in case of international law firm? That is the question.
And do we have a person that it is aimed for? Otherwise, I can start and I can assign it to the relevant people.
Okay.
Okay, so I suppose was it directed, Amit? Was it directed to someone specifically?
No, that's a general question to the panel.
Okay, so I can start that question by saying that it depends on very much what kind of practice you want to do. And of course, if you're doing a transborder, transnational commercial transactions or international dispute resolution, then you should be in one of the major hubs. So if you're in India, it makes sense to be in international dispute resolution in Mumbai or in Delhi. If you're into IT, then it makes sense to be in Bangalore. If you're into, for example, maritime, then it makes sense to be somewhere in Kolkata, maybe, or in Chennai, right? And with that, I would leave the floor and narrow the question a little bit to Per and say, Per, in terms of, and perhaps to Alban as well, in building an international boutique firm that focuses on dispute resolution, where would you strategically place your practice? First Per and then Alban, please.
Well, I mean, first, generally, I think you touched upon this. I mean, you should look at where the business is, where the clients are, if there is a natural and logical connection. If there is a region, for instance, which is well connected in terms of trade and business, that's a logical place to be. When it comes to business resolution, dispute resolution, that may be as a standalone slightly different, because you have certain hubs where you have arbitration institutions in Europe and in other places. And so I think this is where you should be looking at. And you don't necessarily to have a physical presence in every place where there is a dispute resolution hub, but it is helpful to have a good connection with those international hubs.
Thank you very much, Per. And Alban, would you want to say how, for example, when we set up our boutique firm, what did we think about when we placed our law firm in Stockholm?
Well, we live in Stockholm, so it's natural for us to have a law firm in Stockholm. Our law firm is a bit different. We echo these things that Per said a lot, and that's we need to feel good doing what we do. We need to have fun. And the answer for us would be do what makes you feel good and have your law firm where you want to be. I mean, you can't have a law firm in a place you don't want to be. And then we do a lot of international arbitration, so Stockholm is a good place. So I don't know, I just echo what you said, what Per said, and add be where you want to be.
Okay, thank you very much. And I would then also go for a last answer on that one, and that is, of course, as I started off this answer is that, and what Per also said is, where are the clients? Where are the clients? There is where you have to be, but you can't be there unless you enjoy being there. Exactly as Alban said, you have to be somewhere where you enjoy to be. So if you're feeling miserable in Mumbai, then you shouldn't be in Mumbai. You should be perhaps in Delhi or in Bangalore or somewhere else, because you can only do good if you're feeling good and if you're enjoying what you're doing. Otherwise, it doesn't matter where you strategically put yourself. We see so many people go all over the world and return to their homes, and they all come with one lesson. What is that? We miss home. So that is also a message to take with you.
We'll take a couple of more questions. One question directed to Mr. Kowalski. So you narrated about the importance of marketing. So without marketing, you cannot survive. We also agree. But there is a thin line of difference between marketing and over marketing. So what, according to your experience, is the ethical consideration while you market yourself?
Well, I think that when you sort of market yourself, I think first of all you need to be honest. You need to um, say things that really sort of reflect your expertise. And I think that another aspect of it is that you need to be able to deliver what you promise. So I think and it's really important because you can say whatever you want, but if you don't deliver, then this is very poor marketing. So I would say that of course it's very important to have integrity while you market yourself, and I think that's having respect, having honesty. I think that it's of paramount importance because also it's very closely connected with building long-term relations. When people see that you're honest, that you're respectful, that you focus on delivering value, that you are dedicated, hardworking, they will want to work with you more. And I would say that when you deliver a good job, it is also fantastic marketing by itself. By doing it, by promising and delivering your what you promised, you do fantastic marketing, and sometimes people underestimate it.
Yeah. So we'll take the last question. It's a two-part question to Miss Eva. The first part of the question is, how do you develop a sense of ownership in the organization? Of course, we understand leading by empathy, but how do you instill the sense of ownership in the organization? That is the first part. Second is there any ideal structure of a law firm? Miss Eva is there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, my
Yes.
video just, here we go. My video just left. The honesty in an organization. It's quite easy if you believe in transparency, because transparency it's easy to be transparent with the good things, but it's much harder to be transparent with the bad things. If you are able to do both, you will be able to have honesty in an organization. Absolutely. That's the first one. The other one was, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Is there any ideal structure of a law firm?
An ideal structure of the law firm. Well, I think there are not, because it should be, we are individuals, and coming back to what we said before with diversity, there is no one size fits all. I think Per said before that he was referring to Steve Jobs, and I will also do that, because what he also said was that it's not a client's job to know what he wants. So you need to organize your law firm, whatever needs the client you have will ask for. And you need to be proactive, because it's not always that you know that for sure when you start, but it will probably, like, or many other different firms or businesses didn't start off with what they ended with. So you need to be proactive and listen in what the client have for needs, and then you would find your structure.
Thank you. So it has been a wonderful session, and it has been a lesson of humility, leadership, and perseverance. Throughout the discussion, we recalled many names associated with the US Mars mission, I think. Words like hope, curiosity, perseverance, ingenuity, etc., I was wondering why scientists did not give some technical term to the mission. Teams are formed by association with an idea, and we learnt a lot from the panel discussion. Big thank you to all the experts to educate us all so wonderfully. Thank you to the panel experts. Now I request President of Student Association, Tushar Chaudhary, to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much, Arun.
Thank you so much, sir. So a very good evening and good afternoon to one and all present, to all the expert panelists today. So we have almost reached to the culmination of this month-long learning platform, but as said, there is no end to learning. So today I take this immense pride and pleasure for me to deliver the vote of thanks on this momentous occasion. It was an absolute pleasure and privilege for me to host Mr. Magnusson, Mr. Mariusz Kowalski, Ms. Eva Edmond, Mr. Alban Douthatch, Mr. Om Kotwal, Mr. Eva Douthatch. I, Tushar Chaudhary, Student President, NILSA, on behalf of Institute of Law, Nirma University, and the Student Association, wholeheartedly extend my sincere thanks to all the guest panelists for being here today and motivating us with their journey in this impeccable field and world of entrepreneurship, and delving into its critical aspects and nuances. And I firmly believe that this session must have motivated the younger generation. And I hope that most of us now look up to entrepreneurship more. So thank you once again to all the panelists so much from the bottom of my heart. Further, I would like to extend a heartfelt thanks to our respected Professor Dr. Purvi Pokhriyal ma'am, Director and Dean, Institute of Law, Nirma University, for providing us with this great platform of learning and organizing this International Teaching Month, which has already, and it has proved that it has served as a platform for knowledge sharing by different people who come from different walks of life. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would once again extend my gratitude to Professor Stephen Barnes for being here today and throughout this whole event and constantly motivating us all with his presence and kind words. Thank you so much, sir, for attending all these sessions and being with us throughout this journey. I also thank Dr. Arun Prasad for coordinating this session wonderfully. Thank you so much, sir. Further, I'd extend a great thanks to Mr. Eva Douthatch for moderating this session flawlessly and ensuring a smooth flow of this session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Next comes a big thanks to the International Teaching Month team, who have proved a very hardworking team throughout this whole event. Professor Shreya Srivastav ma'am, Head International Office, ILNU, Mr. Gagandeep Khanduja, Assistant Registrar, ILNU, Mr. Ramesh Nambishan, Office Superintendent, ILNU, Digant sir, and all the technical team and the administrative section of Institute of Law, who has been throughout there and being a constant support behind this whole event. And last but not the least, a big thanks to all the faculties, the students of Institute of Law for their patient listening, cooperation, and active participation to ensure the success of this session and this whole event. So it was an absolute pleasure to host all of you all, and thank you so much for coming and inspiring all of us. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And, thank you, Tushar.
Thank you so much.
Now we move to one important section of the program. We have seen the internationalization program at Institute of Law budding from strength to strength, and I have seen this growing from a small sapling to a huge banyan tree today. I know Barnes sir, when he used to enter the institute with a big smile, wide grin, always greeting everyone with a namaste. We learned a better namaste from you, sir. At every visit, you used to greet us with love and with so much fervor. We remember that. And as a mark of respect, we would like to dedicate a small valedictory session at the end of this panel discussion. And we want your support moving forward also. We remember that it was a small 1 week program from 1 week to 2 weeks, 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Now it is a month program. I don't know what is there in the future. And this internationalization and the brotherhood and the love and warmth that you have extended to us always, we will be ever indebted to you. We would like to have words of blessings from your end. Of course, I have seen your long message of love. We would like to connect with you directly. The floor is yours, sir. Dear Stephen Barnes, sir.
Namaste. Thank you for your kind words. And I really didn't have anything more prepared than what I put in a long chat, which I put in way too many words. And I'll just be very brief. Namaste, for our international visitors who don't know, it means the light in me recognizes the light in you. And in my position, traveling around the world, trying to find those connections, and inevitably you find them. Some places it's more difficult than another. But when Sri Menon told me in Bhubaneswar 6 years ago, he said, Steve, have you been to Ahmedabad before? I said, no, I haven't. And he said, on your next travels to India, you must meet my most important student, Dr. Purvi Pokarial, because she is going to be the leader in legal education. And for those of you who don't know much about Srimad Eva Menon, he is the father of modern legal education. So I knew that when I came onto the campus at Nirma, where I never visited before, I was going to meet someone who was very, very important. But through that sort of the awe that I had of getting this referral to meet Dr. Purvi Pokarial, there was an instant connectivity. And the only way I can describe this connectivity is the word namaste. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Director and Dean of the Institute, Dr. Pokarial, to extend the vote of thanks formally from her end. Rather a vote of thanks, this is a communication of love and what she feels about the entire program.
Thank you, Arun. And I'm so happy with your session today. Really, the innovative theme which you have chosen, with which we are ending this International Teaching Month today. And as I mentioned, Stephen Barnes is the chief architect of this entire show. We owe a lot to you, Stephen Barnes. You are an epitome of generosity, humanity, humbleness. You would deny, but you have been working behind the curtain. And at this juncture, I also would like to thank wholeheartedly to my entire ILNU team, to begin with Shreya Srivastava. When we embark upon this journey with Steve, somewhere around in December, so many Zoom meetings, planning, coordinating, taking the communication forward, without creating any kind of a fuss, Shreya has handled the whole entire arrangement so well. Thank you, Shreya. We owe a lot to you as a team ILNU. Thank you so much for always carrying out all the functions with a smiling face, and that has been an amazing team spirit that you have shown. The next, with which Ramesh and Gagandeep Singh Khanduja, as an admin support, they have been working very hard, and especially Ramesh, right from preparing the whole international. I hope we would be sharing with all of you with your I think we have shared, Shreya, or we would be sharing the entire booklet of our International Teaching Month, narrating your theme, panel, your introductions to all of you, and preparing this whole banner, brochures, and taking care of all these small things. Ramesh has played a very pivotal role. And all my faculty moderators, we have been trying to see to it that each one of us engage in one or the other session, and we really showcase this whole as a team. And all of my faculty colleagues have been cooperated and have moderated different sessions amazingly well. So I convey my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to all of you. Our technical support team, Digan Bhai, Nimit Bhai, is always there. Dr. Molia is always backing me. If I'm getting stressed, he's always there. Madam, you don't worry, everything will be okay. So, his support is also very immense. So I'm sorry I'm taking some time, all my distinguished panelists, but this is the last day. So, I can't, I'm not able to, stop my feelings, expressing, and that is, I just would like to take just 2 minutes. So thank you all. We really wanted to have a big party. We're going to have a big party as a part of the celebration of this International Teaching Month in future. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you.
Ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you everyone for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.